Hello, my people. Good day. It's your boy Linton of the Linton Show. We are back on your screen again with a very important topic, which has to do with divorce and getting married in Nigeria. What do you understand about divorce? What do you need to do about divorce? What do you understand about getting married in Nigeria? What is the difference between court marriage and court registry? In fact, there is nothing like court marriage in Nigeria. This is what I heard from a divorce lawyer. So you don't have to believe me. Just listen to the podcast to hear more from him. Thank you. Welcome, Barrister Dixon. Um, I'm a huge fan of you on Facebook, so I follow you on Facebook. So the other day I was going through your Facebook profile. I saw your video where you're talking about divorce. So I was like, oh, it's good for me to invite you to the LinkedIn show to share more light on divorce to us because, especially in Nigeria, I would like there are some things we don't know about divorce. So we just think when we divorce, we have to share the property 50-50. And you said something about registry that most people they go to registry, just that's not court marriage. So the first question I want to ask you now is, can you just throw more light on divorce before I ask like more questions, more specific questions?
Okay. The simplest explanation we can have for divorce is that it is the legal way to terminate a marriage or to bring a marriage to an end. And it's usually related to marriages celebrated at the registries, which we call the court marriage. Like you said, if you have been following up on the videos I'm making, you will notice that I made the post about the fact that there is nothing like a court marriage in Nigeria. People just call it court marriage because they feel that adding court to it makes it looks very serious. But then you're not getting married in a court, so why are you calling it a court marriage? So it's usually registry marriage. That's the right word for it. So when you go to the registry, any marriage registry, and you have various marriage registries all over Nigeria, they are usually attached to different local governments. So it's not only the Ikoyi Federal Marriage Registry that you can legally get married in Nigeria. It's not only that place. So you can go walk into any registry across any local government. You will not meet a judge there. So if you will not meet a judge there, why are you calling it a court marriage? And it is not a court. So why are you calling it a court marriage? So the right word for it is marriage under the Act or registry marriage. What it means is that why it is called that way is that why it is called marriage under the Act is that it is a marriage celebrated in line with the provisions of the Matrimonial Causes Act. You know, every transaction is regulated by an act or a law or a statutory instrument. So what regulates marriage? The law that regulates marriage in Nigeria is the Matrimonial Causes Act. So when they say marriage under the Act, in other words, they are saying that it is a marriage celebrated in line with the Matrimonial Causes Act, in line with the provisions of the Matrimonial Causes Act. So that is why it's marriage under the Act. And why it's called a registry marriage is because it's conducted at the registry.
Okay.
So it's not a court marriage per se.
Okay.
So divorce is the legal steps to terminate that marriage you celebrated at the registry. You don't get a divorce if you are not married under the Act. If you are not married in the registry, we say that it's a traditional marriage.
Yeah.
Or it's a marriage, customary marriage. So if you want to terminate the customary marriage, you don't terminate it according to the provisions of the Matrimonial Causes Act. You terminate it according to your customs. In most customs, you go and collect your bride price.
Okay.
And that's the end of that marriage. So you see that the requirement is a bit loose if it's not under the Act. But if it's under the Act, you have to go to court, you have to go before a judge, you have to go and tell the judge why you want him to terminate that. You see, that's a longer process. So those are some of the little details involved in a divorce. You see, it's a very wide area. But I think that summarizes a divorce.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that you cannot get a divorce if you are married under traditional laws and customs.
Okay.
What it then means is that what you are getting might not be called a divorce.
So what is it called?
It might not be called a divorce, but if you are going to collect your bride price,
yeah,
you see, you're also terminating that marriage.
Okay.
But then you don't necessarily call it a divorce.
Okay.
So yes, I don't know if that explains that question.
Okay. So in essence, the court marriage there's nothing like court marriage. So it's basically just marriage registry. Like that's just the difference, yeah? So but when you do that, when you do the registry, it's like, oh, you got married legally. Like the government now recognize you that you are married. So that's it, yeah?
Of course.
Okay. Another vital question I want to ask. For example, there are two couples, they were living together, they love themselves. One thing along the line, somebody fell out of love, and the man or the woman, they fell out of love, they don't want to be together anymore. Can one person, for example, maybe the man or the woman just said, I don't want this marriage anymore, I just want to terminate this marriage, and the person go ahead single-handedly by his or himself terminate the marriage without the consent of the other person? Is it possible?
Of course, because yes, it's usually one person that initiates the process of dissolution of marriage or divorce.
But
it's not the two people.
Yeah, but what
it's one person that usually feels, I cannot continue in this marriage.
Okay.
So most times the two people come together and discuss and say there is a need for us. I think that mostly happens abroad. Anytime you see issues of dissolution of marriage in Nigeria, usually ends with quarrel. One person usually feels a certain kind of way, the other person feels a different kind of way. Before you know it, one person says, I'm going to get a divorce. The other one is saying, I will not sign your divorce. I will not sign the divorce letter.
Yeah.
Even though we don't have anything like divorce letter. I don't know where they got it from, but there's nothing like a divorce letter.
So, okay, if there's nothing like a divorce letter.
Yeah, there's nothing like a divorce letter.
So the paper you bring, what is it called?
Divorce procedure or a divorce process. And it's one person that goes to court, or it's one person that calls the lawyer and says, I want to divorce. The lawyer goes to court, and the lawyer will file your processes.
Okay.
Then once the lawyer files your processes, a judge will hear you. But the other person will just be notified that somebody has filed for divorce. Do you want to respond or not? So whether you respond or not, the court is not interested. They will continue to listen to the person before the court. But it's important most times to respond. Because when people try to get divorce in Nigeria, there's what we call the ground for divorce. And then there's the facts that supports the ground. The ground usually is that the marriage has broken down. But then the facts can vary. One fact can be that the man is cruel.
Okay.
We call it cruelty and intolerability. The other fact might be that the man committed adultery.
Okay.
The other one might be that the man has an incurable disease, or the man has been convicted for a crime. There are a lot of facts, if you look at the provisions of the MCA, that can support that marriage. So if somebody goes to court, for example, and says that I want to get a divorce because of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Now, the issue of domestic violence raises a lot of questions as it pertains to the character of the adverse party. So if somebody is saying that this man is always beating me, and then because you are angry, you don't want to go to court and also tell your own side of the story. When the judge writes that judgment is going to be that this woman decided to get this divorce because of intolerability or cruelty or domestic violence.
Yeah.
So it's like an imputation on your character.
Okay.
It's like an indictment on your character that you are a violent person.
Oh.
And then the reason why they inform you is so that when these stories are presented before the court, you have an opportunity to tell your own side of the story.
Okay.
Because in law, there's what we call fair hearing. That is, hear the other person before you reach a decision.
Yeah.
Because even Adam, the principle of fair hearing dates back to the days of Adam.
Yeah.
When God knew that Adam had committed a sin, but he still asked Adam that, what have you done? He gave Adam that opportunity to be heard. That's fair hearing. That is where that principle emanated from. So no court will proceed without informing you, but then they will not force you to come to court.
So it means
they will serve you. They will take different steps to ensure that you are notified that there's a petition for the dissolution of the marriage, and that you see that petition. The court will try its best. The bailiff of the court will try its best to ensure that you see those petitions or you see that petition, but they will not force you. Otherwise, the person who came to court, who briefed the lawyer, who paid money, you'll be wasting the person's time if you are waiting for somebody who is not interested to come before you proceed. The court will go on with or without you.
And dissolve the marriage.
Important if you go and you say your own side of the story, so that the judgment will reflect that although the woman said that she's leaving the marriage because of domestic violence, the man also filed his processes and said that he had never touched this woman during the subsistence of the marriage.
Yeah.
And the woman could not lead evidence, or the man led evidence to show that he has never touched the woman. So that will reflect that she said her own side and you said your own side. Most likely the court will still dissolve the marriage.
Yeah.
In most petitions. There are some petitions that fail. If you are not able to convince the court, marriage is a sacred institution.
Oh.
According to the holy books. Yes. So if you want, the court will not just dissolve a marriage on a flimsy excuse. Like, I'm tired of the man, I'm tired of the woman. Or I cannot look at his face. I used to love him, but I don't love him again. The court will not dissolve a marriage based on those grounds. So you have to be able to convince the courts.
So which
is why it's now seeming as though some people will say it is difficult to get a divorce in Nigeria. It's not difficult. You just have to present the right information before the court so that the court will give you what you want. And I think what's bringing this question is because there are some people abroad who have not really agreed with each other. One is abroad, one is in Nigeria. The one in Nigeria or the one abroad is usually pushing for divorce, and the other one is saying, I'm not interested, I won't sign the divorce letter. Anybody can get a divorce. So if one person is doing it and the other person is not interested, the court will still hear that person. And I've done a divorce before,
and the divorce will still go on.
The man was not interested.
Yeah.
But we kept serving him the processes, and the matter kept on, and we got judgment. And he didn't come to court one day, even though he knew about it. Yeah. And the court did not wait for him. And we got judgment, and the marriage was dissolved. So,
wow.
So I think I've done like 3 divorces like that. So the court doesn't force you. The only obligation they owe you is to inform you of the subsistence of that petition. Okay. Whether you now decide to come to court and join issues is within your prerogative, and nobody is going to force you to do that.
Okay. Which means literally one person can just go ahead with the divorce and get everything done, even when the other person is not interested, in as much as it's duly notified.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. The big elephant in divorce, which is, like a lot of people, they don't want to get married, they don't want to do marriage registry because they don't want to share their property. How does it go? Like when you get married to somebody, does it automatically give both parties 50-50 to the properties? Maybe the girl is richer or the guy is richer, but when they divorce, they will share the property 50-50. Is it like that, or there is a way you can do it? You don't ever share nothing, or 10% or 20% or something. I know there's there's something called prenup that you agreed, but in a sense where they don't agree, does divorce lead to automatic 50-50 sharing of property? Does it?
Okay, so can I answer that question now?
Yes.
Okay, so there are some concepts that are novel to our jurisprudence.
Yeah.
What it means is that they are unknown to our laws. For example, this issue of prenup is only in the Western world that you see prenup.
Oh.
where they will agree that if we get a divorce, you are not entitled to my property, or you are not entitled to the money we made together, or the money I made alone during the subsistence of the marriage. So those concepts are novel to our own jurisprudence. They are not common, and it's going to be difficult for you to sustain it in court. So that is why I made a post, and I said, as if you are married, if you get a divorce in Nigeria, you are not entitled to 50%. You are not entitled to 10%.
No percent
50%
at all.
is big. And that is on both sides. You have to understand that
Yeah.
these concepts that are popularized in the Western world, it
Wow.
is not only applicable to the man, it's also applicable to the woman. It's usually the person that is richer.
Yeah.
For example, if the woman is richer than the man abroad, the man gets a share of that wealth.
Yeah.
Yes, the man gets a share of the wealth. If the
Yeah.
man is richer, the woman gets a share of the wealth.
Yes.
Especially the wealth that was created during the subsistence of the marriage.
Yeah.
So it's not an attack on women when you say in Nigeria you are not entitled to 10%, let alone 50%.
Yeah.
Because if as a woman you have money in Nigeria and you get married to a man, when you get a divorce, that man also is not entitled to 10% of your wealth, let alone 50%.
Wow.
You are not entitled to his wealth. He is not entitled to your wealth. Everybody will go with their wealth.
Wow.
So, but the attitude of the court over time with regard to this issue is that you will get what you are able to prove. So if as a woman you are proving that we made this money together, you have to be able to substantiate that proof. If you have property in the man's name,
yeah,
the company is in the man's name, the businesses are in the man's name, you cannot lay claim to them because they are in the man's name. But if they are in your name, the man can also lay claims to them because they are in your name. So it is actually what you can prove that you can get. There's no blanket covering that gives you 50% to anybody's money or wealth when you get a divorce in Nigeria.
Wow.
So you get the only thing you can claim. So there are cases where it's actually a new area, but there are cases where the woman was able to prove that taking care of the home amounts to substantial contribution.
Yeah.
Because if I was not taking care of the home, the man will not be able to make those money. But it's really difficult. You cannot sustain it in court. So nobody is entitled to anything. So maybe if I say, as a woman, you are not entitled to 50% of your husband's wealth, people feel that it's an attack against the women. So maybe we should just put it at nobody is entitled to anybody's money when you get a divorce. Everybody, you go with the money that you have in your account or the money that you can lay claims to.
Yeah.
Again, if the man opens a business for you in his name, when you get a divorce, that man will take that business.
In his own name, yeah?
So you see that it's a win-win.
So?
It's a win-win situation for everybody.
So,
it's only a win-lose when a woman or one of them, let me not be gender specific, maybe one of them just did not contribute make any substantial contribution, and as a result of that does not have anything in his or her name, only to want to get a divorce and expect to get 50% of whatever the man has in a bank account. That's not going to work.
So
if you are making your own money, if you get a divorce, you will not get a divorce in Jesus' name. But if you get a divorce, you will go with your own money, the man goes with his own money, you will go with your business, the man goes with his business, and that's the end of the matter.
So
does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers the question, but this topic is kind of sensitive, Okay, but when some people get married, like because of, like you already explained that though, when they get married, the woman decides to stop going to work to take care of the kids and things like that. So with staying at home, being a full-time mom, so when they get divorced, the woman is still going. Most times, the women always take custody of the kids. So is the man still going to be paying benefits for those children, like those kids?
Okay, yes, that is a very important area. So when you do divorce, there's usually if there are children involved, there's usually what we call custody, and then we have alimony.
Yeah.
So usually custody is granted to the person who has been taking care of the children, and also it depends on the age. If the children are still small, the court is most likely to grant custody to the mother. But then the father can see them. We call that one right of access. So the court will say custody, the mother has full custody, but the father has right of access, and the father can see them maybe once or twice in a week. If it is the man that has been taking care of the children, there are instances where the woman abandons the children and goes away with other men before the divorce, maybe 2, 3, 4 years before the divorce proper.
Yeah.
It is the man that has been taking care of them. The court will not grant custody to the woman that is walking up and down, or somebody who has mental problems, or somebody who has abnormal tendencies, abnormal propensities.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who a womanizer, or a woman who doesn't stay in one place. Today she's in Abuja, tomorrow she's in Kano, next tomorrow she's in the US.
Yeah.
You see, the court will most likely not grant custody because of the instability. So once you can establish that this person that had custody is unstable, because there are instances where, for example, the children are with the woman, but every time there's a complaint that they are roaming the streets naked, or they are in harm's way, or they are in very risky situations. Maybe one almost got involved in an accident, or even got involved in an accident. So if you can shake up these trees and then you are able to establish the instability, the court is most likely to grant custody to the person that is more stable. Let's put it that way. But then the other person will have right of access to see them. But full custody will have to reside with one person.
What about?
Because the two of them cannot be sharing.
Yeah.
The two of them cannot have full custody.
So what about child?
In some cases, if both of them are stable, the court can give, partial custody to both of them. The court can say, you have them for 3 days a week, you have them for 2 days a week. So there is no hard and fast rule. It depends on what you're able to establish before the court. And then if most times, because of the cultural thing, men are made to pay alimony to women. Alimony is maintenance for the children.
Yeah.
So if the woman is with the children, the court can say monthly, this is the amount you have to pay the woman to take care of the children. Also, that should include their school fees. So the woman is just going to be able to establish that this is the amount for school fees, this is the amount for rent, this is the amount for feeding. And then it still depends on the financial position of the man. If the man's salary is 50,000, the court will not tell him to be giving them 100,000, because you cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah, that's true.
So the man has to also show that this is my financial position, so that whatever, because once the court makes a declaration, it becomes an order.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't obey, if you disobey that order of court, it's contempt. You can go to jail.
Yeah.
So that is why I usually say that when people when somebody, even if it's a letter somebody writes to you, it is your responsibility to respond. Let alone somebody serves you a court process because you are angry. You cannot force somebody to marry you.
Yeah.
If somebody says, I want a divorce, and the person has gone to file, the best thing you can do for yourself is to get a lawyer, and also go to that court. Your lawyer should go to that court and file your papers. Because if the court makes an order against a man who is not there and says you have to be paying, maybe the woman brings for a false employment letter and says the man earns 500,000 in a month, whereas that man does not even earn up to 100,000, and the court says the man should be giving them 100,000 out of the 500,000, it becomes an order. And if you don't pay it, unless the woman doesn't want to be wicked, she can activate that against you, and you'll be arrested and jailed.
Wow.
So the court usually looks at the financial position of the man in determining what the alimony or maintenance should be that goes to the woman. I have rarely seen cases where the woman is made to pay alimony to the man.
It's normal.
It's something I've not seen, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
If the man is a full-time husband and the woman is the one working, yes, that is also possible, but it's rare. I've really not seen that happen in real life.
Oh wow.
Maybe in Nollywood, but in real life, I've not seen it happen.
Voila. So
So I don't know if that answers the question.
yeah, that's a fine explanation. I know the audience.
Okay.
They've learned a lot from what you've explained so far. So just a quick one. This is gonna be very short because we are trying to keep to time. So you know you just came back from work. I don't want to keep you long for the evening. So if the man and the woman they are in agreement and they come to conclusion that they want to divorce like by themselves, they've already concluded they want to divorce. So how long does it take before the judge accept the divorce? Like pass it, how long does it take before they pass judgment?
Okay, yeah. Yes, in Nigeria,
Yeah.
it usually takes between 6 months to 1 year to get a divorce in Nigeria. Then in Lagos, it is longer in Lagos because Lagos is congested, the dockets are clogged, there are lots of cases, especially divorce. There are lots of divorce cases in Lagos. So
Wow.
in Lagos, you are looking at a year to 2 years to get a divorce in Lagos. But other parts of Nigeria, like Benin, Ogun State, there are other parts that divorce is not really a hot cake.
Yeah.
You can look at 6 months to 1 year. But
Okay.
Lagos, you're looking at a minimum of a year. You know, the fastest divorce I've done is a year, and that divorce was really fast.
Wow.
It's a year.
So
There
which
are some I've been doing for like 3 years, and we are still struggling to get dates to do the matters. You know, Lagos is a crazy place. So it takes an average. Let's just say two. If you want to add Lagos to that calculation of the average, let's say 2 years. For other parts of Nigeria, you can get it within 6 months and a year.
six
Let's say a
months?
year.
Which means
Let's
if you
say an
can get
average
it,
of a
which means
year
if you can
anywhere
get
in
it six
Nigeria
months, people can
to
get
get a
it.
divorce in Nigeria. So there's a fallacy that you can get a divorce letter and somebody signs that divorce letter and immediately you have gotten a divorce. That's not how it works, you know.
Yeah.
And that is in Nollywood. That's how it works in Nollywood.
Okay.
But that's not how it works in real life. In real life, a divorce process takes time. It takes between 6 months to 1 year.
All right.
That is if it is not contested. If it is contested, where you have children involved, you have properties involved, and people are dragging properties and drag the children, custody issues, alimony issues, that divorce can take up to 3, 4, 5 years
Wow.
because parties are not able to agree on something.
All
But
right.
if it is not contested, like where you started from,
Yeah.
somebody files, the other person says, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
That's usually the fastest way to get a divorce. So when you file and is not interested, the court will listen to you. There are no contentions,
Yeah.
issue-based contentions. So
Yeah.
it flies. And by flying, I mean a year.
All right.
It's not 1 month, it's not 2 months, it's not 3 months, at least a year,
Wow.
you know. Yes.
All right, sir. Thank you, Barrister Dixon. This was very informative, and I guess the audience might want me to bring you back, or they might want some question, or they might want to contact you personally. So we'll just leave it here. If there's anybody that want to reach out to you, you live in Lagos, yeah?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
you live in
I
Lagos.
do.
I don't know. Maybe somebody wants to reach out to you, blah blah blah. But no worries. We'll talk about that. Anybody that want to reach out to you, they drop comments. I can share your details or
No
anything.
problem.
Yeah. So
All
thank
right.
you for
Yeah. Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you. I have been
Thank you.
informed, entertained, and I'm looking forward to hear the comments from the audience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye
You're
bye.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right. As you can see, the guest just left. So it's remaining me. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. Please turn on your notification channel because I'll be dropping episode back to back. Really good episode episode that are very informative and entertaining. So that's what I'll be dropping the channel. Please turn on your notification button. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is LinkedIn, the LinkedIn Show. You can also follow me at TikTok, the LinkedIn Show. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook as well. So